Hey, hey, fam. I feel like I need one of those sound machines that's like, "Bah, bah, bah, bah." Yay, for a celebration. Because that's what this episode is all about. So, this is crazy, but it is officially our 200th episode. 200 episodes on DPE Live. So I wanted to just give you like a little love note, just a little 1-2 punch, a little pod to celebrate. Here's the thing, I very well could have put together a bunch of lessons and things that I've learned and mistakes that I've made, but really I just want this episode to be a quickie so that I can pour back into you. If you are a part of our email list family, our email community, you likely have already received an email where I did actually share 3 different lessons that I've learned from 200 episodes. And if you're not, then you can get on that. We'll put the link in the show notes, but it's just jessglazer.com/community. So if you want to get on our email list just to hear about all the fun things, updates, newsletters, etc., storytelling that I do, then you can just do jessglazer.com/community. It is in the show notes. But like I said, I don't really want this episode to be about sharing or excuse me, lessons. I want it to be more about sharing. And I'm not going to lie, I said this in the email too. There is a small part of me that had to check herself because when the team was like, OMG, we're celebrating 200 episodes, my initial thought and feeling was, that's embarrassing. It should be like 500 or 1,000. Like, hello, that is still the gremlin that popped up in my head. The should that popped up, right? Because I started listening to podcasts religiously, like every freaking day back in 2014. Did not miss one every day driving to school. Podcast changed my life. Podcasts reminded me who I am. Podcasts were the thing that they were expanders for me. They were mentors for me. People didn't even know that I existed, but they were my mentors. And a singular podcast episode is the sole reason that I left my 9 to 5 teaching job, which y'all know that story. So I'm not going to get into it. But I really just want to talk about how while I wanted to start my podcast in 2014, I'm really glad that I didn't. We started it in February of 2022. So we just crossed 2 years and our 200th episode. But I just simply would have been sharing completely different things, right? Like obviously 10, 9, 8, 7 years ago, I was a very different person and what I would have been sharing would have been very different. And I wonder if had I put it out in like 2014, would have quit? Would have I? Would I have quit? Why does that sound so weird? Would I have quit? I mean, clearly with my English there, maybe. But like, if I had started it 10 years ago, would I still actually be doing it today? I don't know. I'm not really a quitter, but I just wonder. I wonder. So I judged myself for a moment and then I said, you know what? This is something huge to celebrate. And at the end of the day, none of this is about me. I didn't start a podcast for me. I mean, clearly I love talking, but like this is not just for me to talk. This is for you. And like everything that I've done in my life, in my fitness journey, in my business, in my personal development, I really have taken the same 3 steps that I always take. And I took the vision that I had, the creative, the curiosity, the fun, the play, and I sat with it. I embodied the vision. And then from there, I moved into messy action. Y'all know messy action is truly the thing that has gotten me to grow this business. Specifically, when people ask how I went from a $500,000 a year to $1 million a year, what was it that changed? And the only thing that changed was messy action. And I could say the same thing for going from like a $50,000 a year to a $500,000 a year, which is exactly what happened. And that was messy action. It was execution. It was not worrying about the how, it was just doing it. And then the third part is becoming that trendsetter, that trailblazer, that pioneer who's creating the pathway and sharing it for other people. That's how I've done everything in my business. That's how I've grown this business. And so those are the exact steps that I took when I finally was in a place to start the podcast. And for us, it was really a capacity thing because I had done the solopreneur thing for so long that once I was in a place that I had team members, for me, that's where I needed to be, where I had some, support, delegation, et cetera. It was like, okay, now we can plug podcast in where I just like simply didn't have the capacity before that. So it wasn't that I was waiting to be ready or like waiting to be confident. It was like, it was just a capacity thing. So anyway, this podcast is about you. It's just a celebration of you, truly. There are hundreds and thousands of you who listen to the show every single week. You listen in your car, you take me with you when you're picking up your kids, you go to the gym, go for walks, hikes, like doing laundry, cooking dinner. And when I like actually close my eyes and think about that, it is so freaking cool because, like I said before, I do that too. Like, I feel like some of the people that I listen to on podcasts are my best friends, yet they don't even know that I exist. And what I want you to realize is with this episode, one, just how unbelievably grateful I am for you, like banana pants, right? Like, we could get into that. But two, I'm a teacher at heart. I default teaching. I love 3 steps, 7 ways. Like, you know that I'm all into the strategy, the systems, and the structure. But what I really want to do and what I want you to know and what I'm really leaning into in this season is I don't always want you to come here to learn. Like, I don't always want to be teaching. I want you to tune into the show to stay plugged in. I want you to plug yourself into what's possible. I want you to hear, whether it's me or a guest coming on, expanders of what could be. I want you to be reminded that you are the one. I want you to be reminded of your personal power. I want you to be plugged into the energy. I want you to remember that you can do this. Like, whatever this is in that moment, that's what I want this show to be, because that's how I use podcasts. Like, yeah, I've definitely listened to podcasts for strategy and marketing and business, but if I'm being honest, over the last decade, the ones that really get me, the ones that I really like to listen to, the ones that I consistently come back to are the ones that make me feel something. And the ones who remind me every single day of who I am and who I am capable of being and what is possible, even when I don't think or see that it's possible. I want this show to help you show up in a different way, in a different level, in a different energy. When we look at DBE, Digital Business Evolution, which is our company, and we look at our core values and our mission, we are all about waking up your potential. Like, our signature program is literally called Empower. And originally it was called Empower University, and then it was called Empower You. But like, it is to empower you. That is literally why it is named that. And the funny thing is, people say that all the time about our program, like, you've just empowered me. And I'm like, yeah, nail on the head. DBE is about looking at your life and your business through a different lens. DBE is about you taking action towards your purpose and your potential that you can't even see yet, like the potential that you can't even see yet. We're trailblazers, we're trendsetters, we're pioneers, we pave our own path. Like, we are not for the status quo. There's nothing wrong with the status quo, but if you've been in my world for any length of time, we are the 1%. We are the difference. We are the people who stand out. We are the ones who go for it, who take action on our dreams, who are the crazy people to leave their 9 to 5 jobs, to leave their secure salaries, to go against that status quo, to go against the grain. We're the ones at DBE, the people who come through our community. We are the ones who are sitting down and having difficult conversations with loved ones who were saying, I know you might not get it and it might seem crazy and illogical, but this is what I need to do. We're the ones who show up and show people what's possible. And it starts with a decision to be the one. And I always want to be that person for you, that reminder for you. I am not always in the energy. I am not always feeling myself. Like, I am human. But when I plug into these communities and these podcasts and these conversations, it's like a spark reignites. And I'm like, oh, I am meant for more. I'm meant for bigger, not so that I'm worthy, just so that I'm living into my full potential and I'm fully fulfilled. I think it's no coincidence that I check my Facebook memories every day, and a couple popped up today, the day that I'm recording this. One was from 16 years ago. It was a long time ago. 16 years ago. 16 years ago, I had just purchased a box of hair chalk. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this or done this, but I bought a box of hair chalk because I was chalking my hair to be different colors. Not for like a festival, not for a party, not for Halloween. Like, I just was chalking my hair to be different colors. And my entire life, I have always wanted to stand out. I prefer to stand out. I intentionally chalk my hair and put feathers in my hair and wear fingerless gloves to just a towny bar to look different before it's a trend. And for me, fashion has always been my outlet where I could do that. But I just think it's so funny. Like, ever since I was a little kid, my mom always talks about it too. And she says it started with her because in the 80s, when all the moms were buying their little girls pink shoes, my mom refused to buy me pink sneakers and she bought me purple ones instead. And she tells me that is something that she taught me, right? I don't know if it's nature or nurture, but for me, I'm like, I don't want to look the same. I don't want to act the same. I don't want to follow the same rules. I like to zig when other people zag. And if you're listening to this episode, you do too. Facebook not only showed me 16 years ago my colored hair chalk on just a rainy Tuesday, but then 12 years ago, I had a full-time job. I was a school teacher. I was working as a personal trainer nights and weekends, just a normal life, right? And yet 12 years ago, my Facebook memory was that I had set a table up at a bridal expo by myself, no business, no team, no help, no mentors. I just contacted a local, what are they called? Like, what's it called? Like the place where you have like weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff like that. Anyway, I can't remember what it's called, but I contacted a local one, asked if they had any bridal expos coming up. They did. I bought a table, which I wish I could remember. I think it was like $250, which at the time was so much money. I did not have that. I was a school teacher. Purchased a table, bought balloons. After school, went rushing over to the banquet hall. That's what it's called. Rushed over to the banquet hall, popped this folding table up, got this cheesy, everything was green. It was like forest green and black. The picture is hilarious, but I set this table up with like a tablecloth and I had a raffle and I had little snacks on the table for people. And I was letting people win like a personal training session with me. And I was there hustling, taking down phone numbers and emails. This is 12 years ago, and then cold called. Part of buying a table at this event meant you got the list of brides, and there were like 400 brides that came through this thing. And all the other vendors are like hair, makeup, flowers, photography. And there I am, personal trainer by night. And I set this table up and then cold called every single day after school. I would come home and I did what I call power hour. And for 1 hour at like 3:25 every day, 3:25 to 4:25, before I started cooking dinner, before Mike was home from his commute from New York City, I would cold call brides and ask them if they wanted help with their health and fitness journey. Like, are you kidding me? Trailblazer, 12 years ago. 9 years ago, this is the last one I'm going to share. 9 years ago, my Facebook memory today, this is all today. 9 years ago was my first fitness competition. I was doing bikini and fitness competition. So fitness is the one where you do like one-arm push-ups and backflips and all of that. It was my first fitness competition. I'm very proud to say that I came in second place in my very first competition. And the quote, or excuse me, not the quote, the hashtag that I put on this Facebook post that I posted of me on stage, I wrote hashtag not average. Especially because 9 years ago, the bodybuilding world had not blown up to what it had blown up to about 5 or 6 years ago when like everybody was doing fitness competitions. I was a little bit ahead of the game on that one, but I grew up watching fitness competitions on ESPN. And I used to say like, oh gosh, I want to do that one day. I was a gymnast. So flipping around on stage, love performing, like, oh my God, I could wear crazy sparkly outfits that don't make sense. And my theme was Alice in Wonderland. And I had the most ridiculous outfit on with a big hat. I'll have to put a picture somewhere. But if you want the picture, DM me on Instagram. I am Jessica DeRose and I'll send you that picture. But it was my first fitness competition, hashtag not average. I've always wanted to go first. I've always wanted to zig when others zag. This podcast, 200 episodes, to me is actually something I'm so damn proud of. So I just wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for being a podcast listener. Thank you for being plugged in. I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful for your shares. I'm grateful for your DMs. I'm grateful for your love. And when you put yourself out there like this on a podcast, when you create content, when you have a YouTube page, when you put things on social media, you are putting yourself out there with a target on your back where you could potentially have critiques, you could have trolls, you could have haters, you could have opinions of other people, you could have people with opposition from what you're saying. And what I want you to remember, because again, this podcast is about that, like remembering who you are, right? What I want you to remember is that it's not about them. That's not why we do what we do. It's not even about us. It's about the ones who want it, the ones who need it, the ones who are ready for it, the ones who want to receive whatever it is that you have to give. And you know, I've said this 10,000 times, but when you have a solution to a problem, it's your responsibility to share it. And this podcast has always been a way for me to share, whether it's what I'm going through or what I've learned or cool people that I've met along the way. I want this podcast to continue to be come with me, not look at me. I'm no different than you. I just like to go first. I just like to put myself out there because I know the magic that happens after I do. So with that, cheers to the next freaking 200 episodes. Are you kidding me? I want you to remember whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're working on, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to take action. Waiting around for something to be perfect or ready, it's an illusion. We know we only feel ready when we've done something before. Perfect does not exist. Therefore, perfection is the lowest standard that you can set for yourself. What? If you are waiting for perfect, you are basically giving yourself an out before you start because you know consciously that you will never reach perfection. So it's like you can quit before you start. Perfectionism is the lowest standard that you can set for yourself. Messy action, execution is the only thing that's actually going to get you where you want to go. So I hope that this was a spicy little reminder just at number one, how much I love and adore you. And I'm just so freaking grateful to be in your ear wherever you are. Number two, for your shares, they mean the world to me. And then number three, you are it. You're the one. You're the one. And just as though you might feel expanded by me or some of my friends or peers or other people on the internet, you're that for other people. So don't for a second doubt what you have to share with this world. I love you all. Cheers to another 200. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers to your evolution, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.